Hey guys, what's up? LegendBTV here, where legends go for music discussion, comedy, and more. And today, we're talking about the newest album from Don Diablo called Future. This is the newest album from Dutch electronic DJ Don Diablo. I actually first heard of this guy through a single, Take Her Place, featuring Arizona, a song that I had heard a lot on BPM radio from SiriusXM, and I was like, yeah, this is mildly enjoyable. So, when I saw this guy had a debut record, I was like, I don't really know much from this guy, but I just thought I'd check it out. Just, I was curious. It was getting pretty decent reviews, so I just thought, this could be good. I've really got nothing else to say leading up to this, so how is it? Unfortunately, it's kind of underwhelming. I was very excited to see a futuristic album. Heck, I really love this album cover, where it has a parental advisory sign at the bottom that says, Parental Advisory, futuristic content. Like, that is lit. I don't know about you guys, but I just love that design choice. But while I love the design choice for that does not raise the quality of the music, which in my opinion is just pretty average. Yeah, don't get me wrong, this had potential to be an amazing album. Honestly, I like the idea behind a lot of these sounds here. I just feel like the record really stays in the safe zone too often. He experiments with future house a lot on this record, but what it really boils down to is really just a pop format EDM album, which actually has a few pop stars, if you don't know. Betty Who, she's not exactly a huge chart-topping pop star, but she is a pop artist that did have an album last year and an album a few years ago, and she's been doing a few things here and there. And also Calum Scott, who had that Dancing on My Own remix, and also an album coming up soon, which I may review. Also, I want to bring up that throughout this 14-track album, many of the tracks run together incredibly similarly, and I honestly can't really decipher much going into this album anyway. I can talk about a few of the things I like about this album. There are things I like. It isn't a bad album. It just, to me, could have been so much more than just a basic, kind of made-for-money EDM album. Now, that's not to say he didn't try on this album, or that it's completely just made for money or mainstream appeal. It's not. I bet you there are some artistic integrity here. A lot of the vocalists do a fine job, my favorite in which being the collaborations from Nina Nesbitt does a really good job on her vocal performance on the track Put It On Me, which has a really fun beat going and a really nice build-up, and her vocals are awesome on this track. Sadly, unfortunately, the drop just sounds really basic and lacking in really any real dynamics, which is a problem I have with quite a few of the drops on this album. They just kind of seem really one-note and monochromatic. And like I said, simplicity even in EDM could work. It's just I don't really find this record to be all that compelling, to be honest. Mike Waters does a decent job on Back to Us. Honestly, I like that performance, and the track opens up the album pretty well. Honestly, the beat is alright. I honestly wish, once again, it was a bit more dynamic, a bit more fun, a bit more interesting, or even a bit more futuristic. Like, honestly, I don't really get the futuristic touches. I mean, it just kind of sounds like all the future bass that, honestly, was popular pretty much in the past and is now just pretty much fallen in with all the other EDM. So if I'm being honest, at the worst, this album just sounds kind of stale. I will highlight that Higher featuring Betty Who is a solid track, although the beat drop sounds incredibly similar to the song Reflections, a song later on the album, which honestly I just find serves as a detriment to the record, and other than, oh hey, this song sounds similar, that's also a good thing. Okay, in general, that's about really all I have to say about this album, honestly. I can't really go that much deeper into the tracks because there's really not a lot here for me to really latch onto, if I'm being honest. But that's not to say this album is complete garbage. I don't hate this album. I don't even dislike it. I just think, unfortunately, it's average, but the disappointing, frustrating kind of average, where there's a lot of good ideas here, there's a lot of good potential going in for Don Diablo, but this album really doesn't show it. It just sounds like really any other producer could have made this album. There's a lot of monochromatic sounding production, a lot of samey sounding beats and drops. This record just sounds pretty generic, to be honest. Just sounds like a generic mainstream attempt to push Don Diablo into the big names of the EDM world, and I feel like this really wasn't the album that he should have made. Yeah, and I just really want to stress that I really love the idea of this futuristic, this big booming EDM album, but what we actually ended up getting was just really safe, generic EDM. Yeah, sorry, for me, it's a 5 out of 10. Honestly, wanted to love this a lot more. I just really didn't. It's honestly a disappointment to me, and I really hate to say that, honestly. I really wanted to love this album. The album cover is so cool. And there's some good songs on here. There's some good songs. It's just unfortunately not all the way through, and I really just feel underwhelmed by this release as a whole. Anyways, though, if you enjoyed my quickie review of Don Diablo's album, subscribe to my channel. We get the Calvin Harris video coming up really soon. I am getting the work on that done. And we also have a lot more videos coming soon. Expect a lot of great things coming in the future for this channel. And comment your thoughts down below on the Don Diablo record yourself. Like, subscribe, share, subscribe, everything else. Thank you all for watching.